Jalang'o amekuwa expelled from the ODM party. And so what do you think about that? Like kuna saa watu wanasema that Raila is becoming dictatorial, alafu kuna watu wanasema you have to be loyal to your party, the party that sponsored you. So what are your views on that?
My first take would be Jalang'o is an experiment that worked. Jalang'o is proof that hard work can pay. Like amejiamini na kifua kama boys alikuja nai akaingia slum, akaingia industry, akaingia government. That you've got to give it to him.
Yes.
He has a very good work ethic, very disciplined na nini. And for the person he is, ulisikia story fulani alikuwa anapiga ati alienda kwa interview ya watu wako na degree, alafu wakasema
yuko nayo
degree, but yeye ndio mtu anatafutwa.
Alisema gahana ama I think he lied at some point, then eventually wakamfikia.
That was risk. So everything up to now Jalang'o is risk that risk kwake has been a gift that keeps on giving, right? How far you can go with that will let time see. Because politics ya Kenya sahi iko at a place where first of all me and Jalas atuko nitwaje si mabest, si atu vibe ni so I have nothing against him, but my opinion of him kwa kitu kama politics ingekuwa he should stand for something like let people know you for this. Like you don't have to be radical, you don't have to insult the president, but hata president anafaa kuone ajue ujamaa akona principle fulani. Because say the optics would look like they've been swayed. Because the theory kusema wanaendea development does not make sense unless he does not understand his mandate as an MP. Right? There's nothing wrong with going to see the president, but kitu inamuuza ni the reason he's come up with ati tulikuwa nimeendea development kwa watu walangata. That makes the president look bad. That makes the president come across like someone who does not respect the institutions that are in place for development. Like kama MP unajua resources zenye unafaa kupata, you know the people who have elected you for a mandate, unaget for this and that. Like politics ya Kenya ni emotional sana.
Plus the fact that UDA in Nairobi got very many votes. So there's no way you can ignore the whole of Lang'ata, because you can ignore the whole of Nyalgonga, the whole of Siaya, but you can never ignore the whole of Lang'ata, because Lang'ata is basically 50-50 when it comes to who voted for UDA versus who voted for ODM. Itakuwa very close. You can't you can give the development excuse for a rural area, but not Nairobi.
But then again, we also are very Kenya ikona a lot of gray areas as far as principles of politics are concerned. Like there's no difference voting for UDA or ODM, and I'll explain. Unaona place kama Maju, wase wanajuanga ukivote Democrat uko na principles fulani kama za gun control, unajua education, kama ukivote Republican LGBTQ, ukivote kama Republican unajua these people stand for I believe in this, unaget
the second amendment.
Like I wouldn't be quick to judge Jalas hata akasema ameingia UDA because it's the same thing. It's the same thing. And even if someone may think nimesema Kenya Kwanza na Azimio ni the same, I think I'd be willing to apologize if we would see different in 5 years.
Because but do you expect anything to happen? Because like the fact that they've been expelled, I think I might be wrong, but constitutionally it means since hizi ndio parties ziliwa sponsor, there needs to be a by-election. Najua alafu kukiwa na by-election, I think if we follow the letter of the law, kukiwa na by-election, do you think this is a good idea, like going for another election and the party that sponsored you has expelled you? Do you think is the risk worth it? Let's say if the constitution is followed, najua kila kitu tukifuata vizuri.
First of all, the constitution cannot be followed vizuri, number one.
This is Kenya.
And even if Jalas does not lose his seat, this is not about loyalty to ODM or to Kenya Kwanza. The biggest thing for me would be like you as a person, right? What do you stand for? Unaget? do you know vile nimesema the president can respect you. Unaget juu let's say for example, let's play the scenario they get expelled. Ni nani ana lose? Kenyans, because the cost of elections the cost of elections
it's very high,
right, it's very high. Unaget those are resources that are going to waste at a time when people wanasema hakuna food, hakuna nini. Is it a justifiable excuse in the name ya kutafuta kufuata constitution? And also is it a justifiable excuse for someone to misbehave because the alternatives are not good? Right? It's sort of a tricky situation to find yourself in. Jalas may retain his seat for the duration of the period. Anaweza align na UDA, which I think is petty politics. Is of you can't see the president, but I still maintain that Jalas amejiseti na kusema anaenda kuona president for development. Be as in stand for something. Sema I have gone to see the president. If you are a street person, sindio? Sema kitu ina make sense, like nimeenda kuona president nani juu ya hii na hii. Unaget like hakuna Jalas ni mtu mzima ameinvest kwa the party and nini but sasa hizi vitu zingine za pettiness that for him to come out and say something that is not accurate at tumeenda for development puts him in very bad light in terms of you cannot even stand up to like the real reason you're supposed to.
But for me it's just like simple. I don't think, I think watu wanafaa kugrow up kiasi. Umsia kuamka akasema enda State House kuona Orezo. Orezo amemsummon. So who the fuck are you to say no? Huh?
Aliitwa hakusummon you.
Okay, aliitwa. So who are you to say no to the president?
You can say no based on if at that point your party is saying this is not a legitimate person. As much as you might not agree, you should nini, because UDA would not have given him that ticket. You remember Nixon Korir was the MP. So him getting that ticket was a privilege. Najua because right now unaweza kuwa na ile kiburia, I didn't need this guy, but at that point you needed him. If he'd run on an independent ticket, it's either Nixon or the guy who ran with ODM.
But I think now it should come down to now maybe the constitution needs to be changed then, like in a way that umse saa tumemexpel but he was elected by the people of Kenya. So
you are elected. The reason why that was brought up was because of party hopping. Party hopping is not good for the constitution, but yani for the people at the end of the nini cause. It means that the president remains unchecked. If all the opposition people move to the government, we have no opposition. So there needs to be a consequence for party hopping.
Kidogo. The politics behind yo kitu ya kuresign, I think is very dirty. It was, I think, wakati Jaramogi fell out with Mzee Jomo Kenyatta, alafu wakakuwa wameform another party, KPU. I think Tom Mboya rushed to create the law to protect the image of the president then ndio isikue process rahisi ya watu kukimbia unaget kuingia huku unaget it was a very political decision. I think I'll be interested to know kama US mtu anaweza switch parties like that, but it's very hard because there people belong to parties based on principles. Unaget alafu Jalas is also on record akisema watu wanaofariwa do for him to say that, it's very easy for him to come across as a victim of ile kitu ya everyone has a price. Unaget alafu pia as far as politics is concerned, how much faith does his party have in him that unaona ni kama ile situation ya ukiwa na dem kwa relationship, like how much do you trust your woman around other people? Uko na dem mwenye akienda kuhangout na wase wengine unaweza fanya shughuli zako ukijiambia dem wangu wako na principle in that haezi violate space yetu. So how much trust is there between Jalang'o and his party that akienda State House wanajua he is solid?
Because another thing would have been maybe a courtesy call to Raila, unajua
maybe
just ile nini. So I understand both sides. I understand him going and I understand him also being questioned, because history ya party hopping, it makes kasa easy. We have no opposition, you know that, like we literally have no opposition, and it's not a good thing having no opposition, like what the president is doing, kuinvite watu wote, because umesikia the other rumor is they're getting 50 million shillings. I don't know how true that is. But you have to ask yourself, if you give me 50 million shillings and you tell me to come out and say Iko Nini is not a good podcast, I'll say it's not a good podcast. You know, this is a lot of money. 50 million is a lot of money. Yeah. Let's be realistic. If it's true.
If your decisions are based on money, number one. And now I think it takes a lot of skill to get from the level of being influenced by money to being influenced on principle. And that does not mean you glorify poverty. That does not mean you stay poor. Yes, everyone has a price, but kwanza one of the most powerful things nimekutana nazo ni the nanitia alisema true wealth is measured by the number of things you have that cannot be bought by money. Unaget? So it's a whole new conversation. How do you separate your being, your wewe kukua wewe from money? Alafu for this conversation ya Jalas, it's also very complicated because I stand corrected. I also think party leader wa Jalas, who's Raila Odinga, His Excellency, ali water down hii kitu yenye unaweza nini kwa hii kitu, ali water down the idea ya being in conversation with the other side. Because he himself on all odds alifanya hii kitu yenye Jalas amefanya on a new level. Jalas amekuja amesema he's still a member of ODM. Raila alitoka akasema he's working with the government. Right? So I think pia sort of kwa conversation when maybe this has watered down the criticism Jalas would get because the same people accusing him of doing this have done it before and on a bigger scale.
Kuna hiyo level ya the fact that Raila mwenyewe you flip anatoka this side to this other side. And I think right now it's because we are in the middle of year, like the opposition was there, like wakisema the way this is they won etc. Then the next day uko hapo ukipiga picha. But now talking of Jalang'o and money, I'd say that I'm also not surprised because this guy I've known him as a very savvy businessman. Like Jalang'o is the sort of guy who never walks away from a shilling, if that makes sense. And of course, for you to be a billionaire, you have to respect 1 shilling. You understand? So by what I mean by that is this is the guy who used to do Kiss in the mornings. Straight after Kiss in the morning, he had a live show every day on YouTube. Remember? Monday to Friday. And apart from me live show, he'd still have ile nini alikuwa nafanya na nani ile like wana na Mwakideu ile building with Jalas and Mwakideu. That's a whole other YouTube channel. Then all these endorsements that he do. So unaona, alafu right now as an MP, he's being an MP and he's gone back to doing interviews. So he's always someone who's always working for that extra shilling. So if supporting the president comes with any like financial rewards, I don't think he'd walk away. It's just in his nature.
I'll dispute the first part of that statement. Because number one, the common enemy is poverty. And people fight differently. Right? Kuna watu watafight poverty by following a strict ethic. Ikifika ni hapa, no, not me, right? And I wouldn't blame. Sema, I wouldn't support, but I wouldn't also blame Jalang'o for making decisions za kutafuta do an extra shillings. Unaona kama sahi ukiwa radio na anafanya YouTube and stuff, that's unaona coming from the place he has come from.
I understand.
Place of luck. Akipata kitu yote inakaa kama itamsukuma further from poverty, he will go for it. And then also, we should also bring to the table why Jalang'o ran. Unaget? If he ran because he knows people make money. Unaget? Being called to the table kama kuna pesa as alleged is making money. He's true to his unaget? So if you judge Jalang'o based on what you think he should do, unaget? You are the one trying to get him to conform to your ideology on who he should be. Unaget? But as long as there's nothing wrong na kama, and which most people do, most people join politics because unataka kumake do. Kama anaweza make do in every possible way, if that's what he went for, he's on the right track.
Yeah, because me personally, I'm not judging him. The only thing wanasema like na try to understand his situation. The only time I'm calling it a risk is what if we have to go for a by-election. You see, this is something you already had in the pocket. This is something you could have told Ruto. Like the same thing nilisema, you can call Raila and tell Raila like, hey, nimeitwa hii meeting naenda kupatiwa do, wacha nile kula kwa Ruto, kura kwa Raila. You know that also works. I feel like if they'd called budange jam hivo, like kuiona kwa news, yuko like, hey, niliwapatia tikiti ukapata hii kitu, especially akina Karoli Omondi who I think maybe reign in Nyanza. I don't know where they reign, but most probably they reign in places where without that ODM ticket they'd never have gotten that post.
No, so mi ndakwambia, I think as far as this decision to go is concerned, like ni aje ameenda huko, it solely rests on him as an individual. And I think your betrayal is something that they expect, that Raila himself expects, because that yeye ameifanya. Okay. It's a game, like
politics is that.
Ni kuchezea na raf in the process, and it's a lifestyle they've chosen to live. And I think politics ya Kenya, kuna msee ali compare why some things are the way they are. Unaget? Like unaona kama US kuna place inaitwa Nogales. Kuna Nogales Sogara, Nogales na Nogales Nogales Mexico yenye iko side ya US. I think I may have mixed them up. Ni two places zenye zimekuwa split. Na kuna moja iko Mexico, moja iko US. Moja iko na US standards, moja iko poverty extreme, right? Na they went ahead to compare two businessmen, Carlos Slim na Bill Gates. Wakasema example fulani ya Bill Gates, alijaribu kuna levels fulani akijaribu kurise, ako limited na the structures that are in place as far as business is concerned. Right? And these are structures that have been built for hundreds of years. Zenye zinaweza mwallow certain level of competition. But Carlos Slim pande ya Mexico is a billionaire because system amejua kugri system yote, right? But the moment kampuni yake moja imewahi cross US, akakosa the competitive advantage. Alisuiwa for hundreds of millions of dollars.
Okay.
Unaget? So inamaanisha tuseme kama the things that we will blame politicians for, not to excuse them, but the things that we will blame them for zina date back uko kitambo. Like sahi ni ngumu sana kuhold msi kama Jalang'o to the standards of what we expect a society should be, yet in a system that's already messed up.
Okay. But I feel also one of the reasons why I feel Jalang'o is safe, and nataka kujua opinion yako, ni mina feel like the executive this time has literally swallowed the judiciary. So I feel like Jalang'o is safe because the judiciary will never allow another election. If ODM insist on we need to go for an election, I don't think that's going to happen. We una feel aje? And by that, the reason why I'm saying judiciary imekuwa swallowed na the executive is because of the amount of cases that have been dropped. Like unajua, like everyone who is pro-UDA, cases imedropiwa.
Yes.
So I feel like this is going nowhere.
Na kila mtu akona convincing theory ya pande yake. Watu wa UDA wenye kesi zao zimedropiwa, wanasema like
Uhuru was fighting them.
Yes, Uhuru was fighting them. Do you know that could be true?
I doubt.
It could be. Because Miss Quizzy, when kwanza hata kwa the question of Jalas, let's put it to rest kwanza. As an artist and as someone who's been in the industry for long, ukiletewa options kwa meza as an artist, Jalang'o or Omosh, which do you choose?
Jalang'o.
Thank you. So that any decision that he makes, as long as he's not Omosh, as far as society is concerned,
yes,
is justified.
Yes.
Historia, nani wana fight nani. My decisions in politics, nilisema nataka zikuwe backed by facts, not vitu ninasikia, vitu nina, and I've done a little due diligence. Like I want to know that if I support this person, I support them because I believe in them and I know something a little kidogo, a little something about them. So one day I sat with Miguna.
Yeah.
And I think for the longest time I've respected him because I know like he's one of the people who stands for something.
Yeah.
Then sijui sahi but nasema then when I sat with him nikamwambia who tells the truth in our politics. And that was before the 2017 elections.
Yes.
I sat with him nikamuliza who tells the truth in our politics. And he was very straight. Kwanza alicheka akaniambia ati you're a good person. As in like my view of society ni ile ya kuexpect malaika. Tulikuwa naye kwa kija yake. Akaniambia like his role, like wachana na chenye aliniambia his role. Like for the time ya 207 they felt they had won. Na walikuwa wanataka kumaintain because the pressure was piling for Kibaki to
back down.
Back down.
Because wacha ni kuinterrupt kidogo for like a split second. The story is Kibaki was ready to step down. Lucy akamwambia ukistep down unaenda kurara kwingine.
Sijui kama ilikuwa hivyo.
Utatafuta kitanda ingine.
But presidency iko na interest mob. Na mimi it was it for me Joel niambia on one side alisema Baba was a coward, like he was not willing to let people die for him to get power. He was willing to reach a compromise. These people would not, the team would not have it. Akaenda chini ya maji and he made the deal. Right? And my impression of these politicians, na the reason why by the mtu akinilabel either Azimio ama Kenya Kwanza shauri yako, mimi nikipata joke na inaenda poa na pande ingine mimi naenda nayo.
Sisi waga hivyo.
Mimi sitaki kujua sitaki kujua because I know unaona kama sahi kuna book ya Joe Hamisi, a very good book inaitwa Politics of Betrayal. If you want peace na kutoa siasa kwa roho, soma hiyo book. Inakuonesha mimi mpaka nilishangaa, unaona vile President Ruto sahi akiuziwa off kukuwa leader wa YK92. Guess who chairman wa mayouth wa Moi alikuwa nani?
Alikuwa
Kalonzo Musyoka.
But the face we always see Ruto na Jirongo.
Imagine.
Those are the two we see.
Imagine.
Kalonzo was there.
Alikuwa huko juu. Unaget like you wouldn't imagine. Right? But then tukikuja sasa kuongea integrity nini.
Cause hata nikikuinterrupt kidogo, the reason hii kitu ilikost Baba in quotes like Raila was he's still known as the violent guy. What he didn't want is what he ended up being labeled as. Because unaonaga ukigo back to your 2007 inasemekanaga one of the people who didn't want to negotiate was Ruto. And umechikiata even right now as a president, he said he does not want to negotiate. So what you are running away from is what now you are pegged as. Because now unasema him he didn't want the violence, but now he's known as the violent guy. So
nani
Raila, like for anyone who does not support him, they say he's the violent guy. But according to Miguna, he was a coward because he didn't want the violence for the violence to be in power.
And up to that level of that conversation. I don't think I'm able to comment about Raila comprehensively because mimi simjui na sijapata si ati siko hapo, simjui vile najua mzee Jaramogi. Mzee Jaramogi ako na book inaitwa Not Yet Uhuru. When you start reading that book, sijui kama ni mtu kujipea props, but when you dig into the details that the props are the things he wanted, like kukua rebel kwa mkutano ya au council wa mtaani wa kuambia amtakuwa mouthpiece ya atika government, watu wanataka nini tuende na hiyo. Akichujwa alikuwa mwalimu wa sijui was it Maseno, akiambiwa ati asilete mademu kwa geja, akasema ati mademu asilele kwa kija yake. Alikuwa msewa hivyo. Na ukisikia ideas zenye alikuwa nazo kama kupush wasewa saidi ya Nyanza wakuwe business minded, like niaje tunataka ku get access to loans, nikajiambia wow, this book was published in 1966 and to be honest up until the information yenye niko nayo he meant well. Na he was a man of principle. Nasema mzee Oginga Odinga sijui
and
baba
his principles costed him so much because like let's look at one thing. You have a chance to be president, you turn it down because someone is in jail. I'd never do that. Why? I always believe I'm the best leader in the room. So that was a principle that cost him.
It's the same thing Raila did. He's still repeating himself in 2007.
Wacha ni puti point across alafu sasa tunaweza nini. I think in 1966 he resigned as the vice president because he didn't feel like they were doing the right thing. That was good. That one I support. 1966. What I don't support is how do you turn down a presidency? I'm not turning down a presidency for shit. I won't lie to you. Zakwa ni beste yangu, akina Rapture, akina Ian, but you come to a room, you're like, one of you to run this country. I'm running the country because I believe I do a better job than the other guy. And if I'm running the country, I'm getting you out of jail. That was a very stupid decision that he made.
No, it wasn't. It was the
stupid.
best decision for this country.
Let me tell you. Did Jomo Kenyatta end up being a good president?
No. It was the best decision for this country because ukiangalia the story of independence, right? If he was to come and be the president under those circumstances, he would have sort of angekuwa amepandilia presidency kwa mabega za mtu. Unaget? Mabega za watu wengine. Though unaweza sema he was the only information yenye sema Jomo Kenyatta was a wrong choice will be informed by what I've read from Linjiro's book The President's Pressman. Kwa The President's Pressman, Linjiro anasema mzee Jomo Kenyatta alikuwa anaamka saa 5. Saa 5 anaingia kwa ofisi kidogo, right? Wanapiga story na kina Koinange, is it Koinange? Wanapiga story kidogo. Kama ako Nakuru wanateremka kwa lake. Kama ako Mombasa wanaenda kwa beach. Ni entertainment mpaka jioni. Alafu ikifika 6 wanarudi State House, traditional dances, whatever, manini, sherehe mpaka saa 8 usiku. Daily.
So he was not okay.
So when I read that, I was under the impression ngoja bana. Alikuwa anafanya job za ngapi? You understand? So
afi time nani ngine alikuwa young.
Haujaenda huko. So for me I think mzee Jomo Kenyatta kukuwa president, he did not show up as he would have shown up. Number one. Unaget? And him going to the presidency, I feel he would have steered the country in the right direction. Juu ukiangalia book ya Lee Kuan Yew is it Singapore? Akikuambia ukiangalia story yake ya Kenya ili gain. Singapore is counted as a first world country. But if you look at the sacrifices and the decisions these people made at that time for them to be where they are today, like sisi ni product ya tabia mbaya over time. Tabia mbaya over time ikireplicate. Na our biggest problem sahi sio who leads, is what has been put in us in terms of sharing of resources. I'll explain. No one will care which tribe is the president. Ukijua
we'll
institutions si jokes. Unaget? Like ukiiba kidogo unaenda. As in, like explain. Juu tabia mbaya yetu imetufikisha place yenye hata MP haizi tembea bila bodyguards 15. You're protecting yourself from the people who allegedly put you in office because of love. Like they love you so much they want to kill you. Unaget? So ukiangalia tuseme kama the systems zenye imekuwa Wajaka sahi we are in a very bad place. Mse yote wa Azimio ana wish Ruto anaweza fail. Ndio ambie watu wa Kenya kwanza, we told you. Lakini watu wa Kenya kwanza wako in a place where hata vitu zikikuwa mbaya aje hawaezi sema because and that's not to say that ati my assessment ni vitu ni mbaya. My assessment ni this is the situation. Watu wameekana. People are forgetting that if Ruto fails, we are messed up sisi wote. Unaget? And my opinion how the presidency happened, like how we are here now, we are where we are supposed to be. Because kama we are where we are supposed to be. Because in 2013 pande Azimio walisema waliwin ni 2017 na 2013 but system ilicheza. Right? This time round imesemekana imeenda na walikuwa na system. Right? And I remember baba akisema vizuri sana. This time round hata ambia watu wake
alisema hivyo in 2017.
alisema in 2017
hata ambia wase imeibiwa
but
I think hiyo 2017 is amtetea na Msando going because remember the ile one thing we forget is Msando did an interview on NTV, you remember that morning and then he died later at night. When he did that interview alienakunga kiambia wase the system will not fail. Alafu I think that's the time the decision was made that kuna mtu anafaa kuuma pamba hapa, alafu akauma pamba jioni
mimi hizo facts
allegedly
hizo facts sina but what I know is like where we are at sai as far as politics is concerned the biggest pain ya mtu yote wa Azimio mwenye alilose, if you dig deep wachana tuna love for baba the biggest pain ya mtu yote wa Azimio ni the idea that mtu wetu akiwa president kwetu kutakuwa na barabara kwetu kutakuwa na hii which should not be the case because we've been led to believe and rightfully imepampiwa kwa akili ni mtu wenu akiwa pale you are guaranteed that resources zitakuja kwenu.
And I think it's been proven over time because look at Kibaki alikuwa a very good president. The only weakness ya Kibaki ilikuwa hakushare like political posts vile walikuwa wamesikizana as NAC, si ndio? Hiyo NAC ilikuwa the what movement, the rainbow whatever unakumbuka rainbow coalition so that was his undoing. And then you come and look at even like right now ukiangalia vile nani anatoanisha watu anaitwa Ruto akireplace watu bado ana replace most of them with the two communities that put him in power. That's the Kalenjin and the Kikuyu. Look at even like I remember nani I think ilikuwa ni Andrew Kibe I think akichapa Gachagua whips because of the way Gachagua is still talking about the Kikuyus did this so we are benefiting as the Kikuyus because we did this. So even when you have a deputy president who's looking at Kenya through tribal lenses, you understand why the electorate would feel the same. You understand? Like, hakuna time nani ametokea akaiangalia through the national like now I'm president, let's worry about all these 43 communities, especially the deputy president. I won't talk about the president himself, but the deputy bado ana walk around with the mentality ya central this, central that. So I understand why the electorate might feel the same.
I think the tribe card the tribe card goes deep because hata Nelson Mandela niliona si Kenya peke yake yetu hata ni afadhali Nelson Mandela nilikuwa nafikiria it's unique to Kenya like ukisikia hata Mutaingunya akisema so and so is a Kikuyu nani ukidescribe ule mjaka fulani unaget ukienda SA they had the same problems like hata akisema so and so got this position he's a hosa like me unaget like unapata kumbe this thing is deeper in your line. Unaona kama sahi mtu anaweza expect the difference between seme kama wajaka ni level of awareness. Mtu anaweza assume ukiwa mjaka you are genetically predestined kusupport Raila unaget but when umefika level ya kuangalia politics on principle unaget unaweza disassociate from to make decision. You can support Raila but you can support Raila on principle. You can support someone else because you believe ana align na interests zako. Kila kitu ni interest. So mtu mwenye hajui anajua Raila akikuwa president atapata hii na atapata ile. Na one of the things I think people will never learn. People will never learn. You should never even usiwahi jisumbuati let's cure tribalism.
The tribalism thing pia tushai explain kwa hii podcast like even I'd understand the South African thing. Most African countries were not formed by Africans. What I mean by that is how our borders were drawn. So like I always give the Awori family as an example. Half of the Awori family are Ugandans, the other half are Kenyans. Unajua? Because mzungu akichora border hakuwa anajali where your father's land starts and ends. Walikuwa na the British East African Company was a company and this company owned pieces of land. So if your piece of land ended up in Uganda, you are Ugandan. If it ended up in Kenya, you are Kenyan. As opposed to the French, ama even the Norwegians, where the Vikings were like, this is Norway. Sindio? And then these Vikings had to fight for Norway. So it's going to be very different from a country that we are more of our tribes than our country. So that means that if the white man, like at some point remember the British East African Company, Uganda used to end at Naivasha, najua hivyo. That's why vile nani Idi Amin came into power, aliambia Kenyatta niaje, by the way inchi yangu inaishia Naivasha. Alafu Jomo akamwambia sawa kuja ichukue unacheki, cause it's the British East African Company. So mu understand that tribal element. The only thing mu fikiriani sawa, we didn't want to be a nation, now we are a nation. Can we try even amongst our tribe to get the best leaders? Because that's another thing ile sisi ufanyaga. Like I feel like African tribalism is negative ethnicity, because even amongst our tribes we never get the best
things. You trivialize too tribalism. You focus too on tribalism peke yake because labda it's the biggest group tunajua identify nayo, but human wao divide into groups of identity. Like sai kuna kuangana wase wa Eastlands na wase wa Westi. Hakuna tribe hapo. We ni mtu wa Islando, we ni mtu wa Islando. Ukwe nini unajajiwa kama mtu wa Islando. Bas, kuna hiyo. Ukiangalia kama stories za nini kwa ngoma, sini wase wa hip hop, sini wase wa reggae. Na mmejidivide mpaka kuna time inaweza leta war, right? But hapo ndani ya hiyo group you are as unaona mali emotion yako imekupeleka in terms of the group you represent. Hapo ndio labda unaweza abandon beliefs za group ingine. Because wase wa reggae wanaweza vibe bila kutaka kujua uni Rastaman Msafiri ama uni Rastaman. Una get? So the politics ya identity ya binadamu inagopia na politics ya Kenya inagopia na level of exposure, right? Kama sahi the masses ya Kenya wenye wao make decisions based on the people they love. Una get? Na kama politicians wasajua hiyo, Kenyans most Kenyans don't know the value of institutions. Una get? Nilicheki kwa one of episodes za Iko Nini mkidiscuss story ya tax. Right? Tax ni Butita uliuliza about kutax M-PESA. Right? Kukuja kwa M-PESA. Was it Butita ama ni Shiti?
Tax ama tulibongaga juu yake, unajua pia tumedu vitu mingi so sijui. But we've talked about
tax kwa M-PESA.
Tax ilikuwa nani? I think ilikuwa Desagu.
Desagu. Desagu. So mimi nasema like people don't know the power of institutions. We complain about tax because hatujui, unaget, hatuoni mahali inaenda. Kuna countries wanalipa tax sijui 55-60%.
That's like the vinampatia na Norway, Finland.
But wendi ukienda hosi utapata visi unataka, barabara, transport system iko poa, unaget. So you feel like you're contributing to a good cause. Like value yako ya do is measured by what you get in return. Juu sahi mtu akikudanganya unaweza kuwa na mita moja, but mtu akikudanganya umpatie so moja utasikia uchungu ya hiyo do kama hiyo mita yako yote. Una get? So Kenyans don't know the value of institutions. Like watu hawana problem na kutoa do. But nioneshe do yangu inaenda wapi. Watu wako na do but nioneshe inanisaidiaje, inanijengaje. Una get? So the same way tukikuwa na institutions za kama sahi one of the greatest scandals ni mtu kuna MP aliingia kamiti na akarudi. Unajua time heals a lot. Right? So MP when I read the story at first ati wameshikwa juu ya serious board, I dug deeper nikaenda nikasoma hiyo story. And then nikaangalia, was it in 2004 there was a very big famine. And when ukiangalia in that context, very big famine, pesa ngapi ilipotea, wakasupply hewa, wakapewa mahindi, and then several people died. At that point I think that's the point nilianza kuunderstand ile kitu ya ati kukunywa damu ya watu, like devil worshipping. Kukunywa damu ya watu
doesn't have to be literal.
Sio kunyonya damu kama vampire. For me ilikuwa like someone deserves this, but mtu ameichukua yote, ameenda nayo, so hule atasafa cause mimi naza get. You understand? And that comes also from the place of one of the most profound things nimaiona was an example ya jamaa fulani, very prolific writer wa book inaitwa Catch 22. Walikuwa kwa yacht ya billionaire fulani. Alafu mse fulani akamwambia do you know mwenye hii boat anatengeneza domob inanawa. I hope I've gotten that correctly.
Yeah.
Inanawa kuliko hiyo book yako do yenye book yako ilitengeneza in 2 years.
Yeah.
Whatever. Anawa. Alright, akasikiza hiyo kitu akamwambia but who billionaire hata wahi kuwa na kitu moja niko nayo. He will never have enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unaget? And hiyo kitu ili ni impact differently. Like vile tuko sisi, people look for money to protect themselves. People, lack of information ya watu imefanya kurun for office unahitaji 50 million, 100 million, uget kiti yenye haiwezi kurudishia hiyo pesa. Unaget? Because wale watu unafaa kuserve wanataka hiyo juu ndio wanataka saa best yangu fulani na kwa bank anaitwa Obi alinichekesha sana. Aliniambia difference ya Azimio na Kenya Kwanza ni nini, Kenya Kwanza understood the assignment. Mkenya hataki unamwambia ati sijui nitakuletea flyover inapita hivi kwa Kijazi ati underground nini. Anataka unampea do, ananunua nyama, ana vote. Azinalieka hivyo, ilinichekesha sana. And it made sense. Because watu wamekuwa in such a desperate situation that they only know wanataka tu kusurvive leo. We don't care about tomorrow because you're not sure we'll even get to that tomorrow. Unaget? So let me eat today and
worry about tomorrow.
Alafu wataserve mtu mwenye anajua the value of today, right? Msi understand psychology wa Kenya. So hii value ya enough inafanya watu wanataka kuaccumulate do, but hata ujui do ni ya nini. Unataka tu do. Like kwa life yako ujai define unahitaji pesa ngapi kufeel uko fulfilled. You just want money. You want to be a billionaire. Why? As in, it's not bad to be a billionaire, but why do you want to be a billionaire? Unaget? Does it serve your dream? Yes, ama juu watu wengine wanataka kuwa billionaires. Right? Why do you want to run for office? Because you know hapo utatengeneza pesa mingi sana, hautakuwa poor. Like, right?
It's about me.
Yes. And these motivations ndio zinafanya unasikia pesa imepotea, scandal ya nini, nini imehappen, and people will never get justice for this because ya alignments. Unaget? Tungekuwa na system kama ya China yenye umeiba
nyonga
bas nani independent. Like hakuna influence. Number one, resources za watu zingekuwa in place. Like kama sai public schools would have been the best places za kusomea. Public hospitals would have been the best places to get service. Niliambiwa na I think Governor Nyang'o ni aliniambia, mamsa aliniambia like zile hospitals zenye wase utoka wanaenda majuu are public hospitals za hizo places. Public hospitals zao ni better than the private glorified hospitals za huku. Why? Because they understood the value of working systems. And if we were to get to a place where the systems work, people would never care who becomes president. Na ukikuwa president na au understand assignment, that's it for you. But we're in a place where we are so emotional. And let me say something, and I mean this from my assessment. If like the system ya Kenya would work, like tuseme mse kama Ruto, however the circumstances zenye ameingia nayo presidency, I don't know. Ningekuwa na facts ningezisema tu hapa. But angekuwa president afanye vitu zenye hao wase wamekuja mbele hawajaifanya. Like system zote zina work, approve wase wrong na zile expectations wase wako nazo za ku-expect a fail nini, unaget? Do you know people would not even care about the next election. Watu wangesema hiyo 12 billion kuna mali tunaweza iweka ifanye kitu. Unaget? Like tuseme kama transition to secondary school, like wase wakimaliza shule wanaenda wapi, like wako absorbed, tume-improve manufacturing. In 5 years people would want to know okay, inaweza happen.
I think shida yetu pia as Africa ni I think the things that we value. Majuzi kulikuwa na history ya I don't know if kwa nation ama standard, but the story was that there's this politician who's right now as a CS, and he's become rich. He started wearing more expensive clothes and people were wondering who the politician is. And I remember in the process kuna mtu alishare picha ya Kipchumba Murkomen and they zoomed in on his watch. I don't know how true this is. And then wakasema sijui watch ni ile inasema ngoje Hublot ama wherever. And I had to check the price, and the cheapest watch that was like $7,500. I don't know kama ya Kipchumba ilikuwa that specific watch, because I don't know watches. And I was thinking, as a Kenyan politician, as an African politician, should anyone in the modern age wear a watch worth $7,500? Because the first thing is, we, the people you represent, don't know
which
it's that. Another thing is, there is no European politician who'd wear that ever, because Europeans, they're like, politics is like one of the lowest paying jobs in most Europe countries, most European countries. So nikozile za I'm really hoping that's not the case, that he owns, even if it's his own wealth. I feel like it's too, for the people that you represent, there has to be a certain level of humility, that I'm representing people who struggle with eating. Najua, that's like the most animalistic thing. Eating. Animals live to eat. That's all they do. They eat, they mate, they sleep. Najua. But sisi as humans tume transcend that. But now tume reduce other humans to animals, because they have to worry about food. Najua. So kuna hizo vitu zile muangaliaga as Africa, I'm like
the question is not what they are wearing, is why they wear those things. And that cuts across board, and from top level at politics to wase wa kawaida. Unajua, one of the principles I live with and I live by, and I really enjoy knowing that, is wealth is what you don't see. And ukiona mtu na kitu expensive, it's not bad. If it fulfills you, well and good. But if you're wearing it, and value ya kitu kama watch, for example, watch ama nguo, value yake inakuanga shown kwa mahali watu wengine hawana. Juu kama hiyo watch uko kwa group yenye, and it's a zero sum game, uko kwa group yenye wako na hizo ma watch Hublot ama ni Rolex, unaget, it becomes irrelevant, right? The same case applies na, I think it's the background of where most of us come from, right? Umesha badala ya kukua na you want to be respected by the things you own, but not for who you are. Like ukiona mtu na gari poa, the best explanation was, mse anaendesha Ferrari. They're not admiring you. They're admiring the Ferrari.
So
unatumia
shortcut. Ferrari makes you look like.
Unatumia shortcut for admiration. Unaget? I respect the person who can get respect as themselves. Like someone does not have to look at what you're wearing. Someone does not have to think about the money you have. They respect you for who you are, what you stand for, and what you represent. Unaget? And I also, unaona iyo ni shortcut, because tulishasema tabia mbaya ni rahisi. Getting the respect, if respect is earned. Unaget? If I was to earn your respect through the proper channels, I'd have to earn it. Unaget? In principled ways. Unaget? Utasema, ule mse yuko hivi. Unaget? Sio mse yuluvaa nini. Umecheki watch yake. Umecheki kiatu yake. Me, for what I know, siwezi penda kurespectiwa juu. Mazedinga gani niko nayo nini. But most of these people, vitu kama hizo, if true, ina explain the motivations. Unaget? Like, you crave it so bad, that unataka ufike hiyo place. Kuna mtu ataangalia a leader aseme, mazi nataka kukua senator, nataka kukua CS ndio nivae watch fulani. That's the wrong. That's the wrong representation of what you want. Unaget? But compared na, unaona tuseme kama mtu akivaa watch ya $1 million bob, si ndio? Na ikue $1 million bob, say for example, unaweza impact kitu fulani na hata labda $500,000, si ndio? Like, not about ati kuonesha watu ati you impacted people na $500,000, but the value of what that is. Unaget? Like, let's say for example, umeenda ukalipia watu school fees, not to shout about it, and then wakakuwa madaktari. Unaget? Your contribution to humanity is more than a material object ulivaa kwa mkono juu. Somewhere siku moja huo daktari labda anaweza discover medicine fulani, ama ata contribute kwa research fulani. Someone who could have been lost in the village, unaget, but the fact that mtu alitake initiative ya kumpatia mkono afike level fulani, in a way wanasemanga the true value of a man is measured by what they do to people who cannot pay them back.
Yes.
Unaget, siku moja huo daktari alikuwa mahali anasema huyu jamaa alinisaidia hapa na hapa, si ndio? Na amesave lives za watu fulani. This a gift that keeps on giving to the person that you are. Hizo vitu zingine people forget.
Yeah, because even when you think about things kama the Ford Foundation, this is someone. See Henry Ford, sindio? We think about the Rockefeller, whatever, Rockefeller. We think about now ukienda place ka US, like some of the most popular theaters, Carnegie Hall, that's Carnegie is someone. Now you come back to Kenya and you look at someone like, even right now as people are fighting the Kenyatas, one of the reasons why there are very few people coming out for the Kenyatas is there a Kenyatta Foundation? And this Kenyatta Foundation,
it's
yes, what has it achieved? The fact that I have to ask you, if I asked you, is there the Ford Foundation, taniangalia zile za kichwa yako ni mbaya, because we all know about the Ford Foundation. So you look at this, is there a Moi Foundation? What has the Moi Foundation done? Because these are billionaires, and these billions, originally the source of the first billion was not, unajua, it was not legit and everything, but you can clean it in such a way that we are all like, oh, this is good. But they've not done that, and I feel like that individualism in Africa ndio kitu imetu affect, hatujafika the levels we could have reached.
But that would be like kusema it's okay to get money in an unlegit way, as long as you do something.
Right now it's already gone.
It's a gone case. So
now, there's nothing we can do about it. We can't be like, hey, Kenyatta rudisha land, Moi rudisha land. It's never going to happen. It's already gone and it's been cleaned.
Mi nasemanga and I live by this. Like, I will never judge anyone. Unaona ati sijui someone must, hiyo ni shauri yako, hiyo ni wewe na kesi yako. And it doesn't mean that. No, I just want to be comfortable because I know the value of being comfortable. Kwa wale watoi nimeleta kwa hii dunia, I want to make sure that they get the best available. What do I need for that? Unaget? What is the process that I can get that correctly? I'll do that. Unaget? Still, the greatest things utaacha kwa hii dunia, unaget, are not material things. Are how you impacted the lives of the people you leave behind. Unaget? But I think for the people who focus on kuchukua we never learn, because most of these billionaires, most of them, when they go, wanachanga families more broken than they would have wished. So hata ikuangi beneficial to them. So maybe that's their karma, I don't know. Unaget? Because at the end of the day, you worked for nothing. Unaget? But if you left true values, like kama mimi neza teach mtoi wangu principles of what I learn na how to be a better person and pass that, I know I've done a good service na najua my impact ya kuku hapa iko sawa. That's done. Unaget? Na pia in terms of the things you do, unaget? When you focus on sijui nini foundation, I don't even think from a place ya foundation, the Kenyatta family, the best foundation they would have left is not a Kenyatta's foundation. It's a proper foundation for the country.
Yes, I know that.
In terms of what are the principles umeweka for the country.
Institutions.
Unaget? Because ulikuwa hapo. Unaget? But what we have, tuko in a place ya kila mtu anangoja tani yao, wacha tani yetu ifike sasa tuende tuchafue. And it will take a very long time before this country gets on track.
Because one thing like we have to give Nyerere like credit for. Nyerere created a nation. Tanzania is more of a nation than Kenya, in that tribalism plays a very small role. Unapata like even Tanzanians were complaining that alikufa majuzi, Magufuli ndio mse alitry kurudisha tribalism, because vile Magufuli alikuwa president na alienda paki employ wa Sukuma, because he was Sukuma, si ndio? He ended up employing Sukumas, lakini before that watu wako wanajali mtu ametoka tribe gani. So alibuild more of a country kutushinda. The only thing tuliwatandikia ni mistake walimekea kufundisha vitu na Kiswahili. It was a very good idea, but somehow they didn't execute it well, and that meant their education system kama yetu ikakuwa a little bit better than theirs. And if the people are more educated, of course they'll push a country further than if they're not. Alafu sa now, if you could have done that the Japanese way, where the Japanese teach in their own language but they were able to
you have like manufacturing
lazima uweze kunini so hiyo pia tunaweza nini but yes building a foundation as a country I think that's gone like
but that is also subject to debate unaona hiyo story ya of course it's pride tumeshinda wa TZ na kizungu juu akikuja Twitter unaget that
even development economy our economy is bigger so there are few things we can be
because for them okay what I can say is it's going to take a shorter time to catch up and even surpass than originally was you understand right now
alijua kizungu na 6 years so it like 6 years wakwe
no watana na mambo ya kizungu but in terms of like growth country GDP na vitu kaa hizo it's going to take them a shorter time to catch up because mali wanaenda saizi unajua kitambo walikuwa na rely so much on things that come from Kenya nakumbuka hiyo nikiwa mtoi kulikuwa kuna products zilikuwa zinatengenezwa Kenya zile hazikuwa zinapatikana TZ and for them to kuletwa TZ watu walikuwa na cross kwa border kuzibai usiku alafu wanarudi nazo TZ na ilikuwa crime so walikuwa wanashikwa kuna wale walikuwa wanashikwa na kuna wale walikuwa na manage kucross nazo wanaenda ku open mashop wanakuwa dosi kiasi but saizi imefika level ya everything the Kenya produces they can produce their own and they're using their own they're buying their own so hapo ndio shida inatokea cause Kenya ilikuwa na make a lot of money from exporting things to TZ right now hiyo haiko saizi wanajitengenezea vitu zao alafu wao kwa nini hiyo country ni big so kwa agriculture wako hatuwezi compare nao so saizi wao ndio wanaleta food Kenya hapo ndio unasikiaga kuna hiyo shida iko hapo kwa border na wao sio
a lot of this nini pia ni Magufuli si ndio like Magufuli did a lot for them like tujifanyia kila kitu so he had his positive sides where he fought for them the only I think thing more fault Magufuli was the fact that he wanted to be a life president
Kagame style
so kulikuwa na hiyo ile sasa kaenda hapa kistopisha freedom of speech he basically killed the opposition on the elections where they won like 99% of the seats unajua hivyo under Magufuli like CCM won all the seats like cause ilikuwa nasemekana au IBC wa huko alikuwa anapigiwa na uliza unataka kuamka kesho asubuhi sawa okay half there's nothing you could do about
alikuwa mafia hiyo design
he was that
so yuko na hizo mistakes that he made
but ametengeneza hiyo country in a way that ile kitu watu wanazusha saizi ni wanaona nikaa huyo mother anataka kuirudisha to that level of like borrowing unajua huo mse hakukuwa na borrowing China everything they did there was a trade happening China wanaleta kitu fulani wanapewa kitu fulani it wasn't a debt but saizi umadha nikaa nataka kuwarudisha hiyo sekta ya debt
na kuna watu wana insinuatingi life yake haikuenda sana juu labda alikuwa anajaribu kudestabilize system ya vile system inakaa
na
mimi nitakurudisha kwa point ulianza nayo human beings are animals human beings are animals to the extent that sisi ni wanyama tunajaribu kujifanya mazia hatuwezi ishi na hizo nini zingine za za nini wengine human beings have created institutions that go against their animal instincts unaget hata enda the basic found nini simple ya marriage marriage in most cases kwa nini kila mtu anasemanga marriage is not a bed of roses like unatayarishwa ukiambiwa ngwa like unafaa
kuvumilia
okay nyini kuku yes but mnafaa muingie mstick na unaget na sisemi tuseme kitu kama marriage is wrong but I think it's founded in most cases on lies it's founded on unaona for example sahi I have a theory kitambo watu wanasema marriage used to work because women were forced kuvumilia a lot unaget nimetoi na theory fulani yenye naendelea kufuata naenda kuinvestigate mtu anasema how marriage came about ati kitambo in the hunter gatherer societies wasi walikuwa wanaenda wana hunt wanarudi watu wote wanasosi hakuna mtu wa mtu tulikuwa kuku kitambo like I don't know how many years ago alafu hii kitu ya jealousy ikaanza kukuja kwa watu wengine walikuwa wanaenda wana hunt wanakuja na nyama mob, na kuna watu wengine wa kuchill kuzalisha tu alafu watu hiyo wanafidiwa na hizo nyama zenye wao wameleta. So ikakuwa buda wacha mimi nichagulie huyu, nitamzalisha huyu, alafu nikuwe namletea nyama na mfeed na watu wenye nimeget na yeye. Alafu over time this institution was formalized. Ikakuwa mimi uprovide huyu na yeye uniprovidea watoi. And that was according to the philosopher, that's how marriage came about. Wedding wanasema ililetwa na French in the 1200s. 1200s the idea ya the white wedding nini na alafu ikakuja watu wa capitalism wakakimbia nayo commercialization. Here's the advantage of marriage if you ask me. Vile capitalism imecover world sahi, it's only important that you have structure and you have a plan as to how to cater for your offspring.
Yes.
Unaget? Like kama unatafuta sini resources. The resources required to raise a child. Sindio? The resources required to raise a child ni hivi na hivi. Na zinaniallow kuget watoi fulani. Kwa hii safari ya hii dunia nafaa kutafuta dem, tuna team up na yeye, tuseme wacha tutengeneze household. Unaget? Alafu hivyo na hivyo na hivyo na hivyo. Na I think that's why sort of inakaanga based on the amount of resources yenye mtu ako nayo, ndio inakaa ni kama the amount of women one can get. Unaget? Like mse ako na do, uko na mawife kama 10 because you can afford it. And in most cases those women don't mind. Unaget? Ni naweza afford 20. Unaget? Mbona watu wanasemanga ati ukiwa na do kidogo hata hao mademu wana fight, but kuna level fulani ya do mademu wana understand. Unaget? Like kuna a level amount of money that women can get along.
Yes.
Like first and second wife wako hivi na
if you're a billionaire alafu uambie huwa girl toto like ati you'll get a share of this, our offspring will get a share of this.
In most cases
because I think it goes back to our our animal nature.
Yes.
Where survival of the offspring, survival of my gene, survival. So unaona, with this money my offspring is safe.
Yes.
Because that maternal instinct, that what so I guess that's why inakam to ile like a certain level of money hakuna kufight.
And that's just one side. Kuna side ingine tena ya procreation ya like we mwaf generation yako inaenda wapi. Like una get like ni aje lineage yako wewe sasa uko na responsibility ya mali babu yako alishikilia, baba yako akashikilia, unafaa iendelee. Unaget? Usipoendelee unawaangusha. Unaget? Unaifungia hapo, lazima iendelee. Na tulikuwa na guest kwa show akasema ati kitambo kuna culture fulani ya Kikuyu where Hazi alikuwa anakubali wife yake agongwe watu wengine na wase wengine just to mix, just in case kuna problem genetic
watu nayo tinga kuna kamuizi ama kuna kamogoroki fulani inakupatia a high chance of nini. So that's because the Kikuyus and the anaitwa Masais share a lot, because that's why unapata pia Masais walikuwa nayo story ya spear.
Bas na Wajaka pia nilisikia kuna ingine ya ati gate ndogo ilikuwa inatengenezwa such that Hazia kirudi na kuna mse alikuwa na sherekea wife yako unakuja ukipiga kelele ndio umpatie nafasi ya kuchomoka. Nimesikia hiyo but niko in the process. Unajua napenda hizo vitu za kujua sana, so niko in the process ya kuinvestigate. So when I look at such concepts and how convincing they are, niko like by the way, in most cases human beings are putting themselves in structures that they cannot live by. But when you get awareness into your animal instinct, unaget utakuwa una approach life from a truthful place. Like ukienda ukutane na dem, si ndio? Labda raise standards ama useme uweke standards za umeget dem mwenye mna get along design, mna completiana, mnaweza kaa pamoja under the tunaweza kaa na wewe this long as much as ni tricky because hakuna mtu ako good enough kwa the other person kukaa forever. Na most of wenye wanakaa pamoja because they have found ways to hide the things that would break them. Kama sai niliambiwa a concept na best yangu sitapeana details za tulikuwa napiga tu story akaniambia by the nikamuza uko na watu wangapi akaniambia kuna 3 but ni 2 wanamjua mmoja hata ajui baba yake ni kwa nini kwa sababu kwa sababu ex wake alimwambia mazee naweza penda kupata mtoi na wewe na ex wake ameolewa right so wakaenda waka seal deal so Hazi anajua mtoini wake na anamraise akijua ni mtoi wake right and
the Hazi could not fertilize ama ilikuwa
no. Ni madem tu adventure like mazee madem wa nimesikia story ya relationship wife na Hazi wako na watoi 3 na hakuna hata mmoja wa huyo Hazi na Hazi anawaraise na Hazi anawaraise proper anajua nini maze kumbe jeans zako ziko tu ndani ya mayai yako like that's where they stop unaget so and that breeds a lot of hiyo inafanyanga niangalie life from a perspective of we are hypocrites by default we are hypocrites ka Banimak unajua Banimak Banimak alikuwa anasema and it's very true like we are hypocrites to the level of maze wewe kama boys unaweza taka kushaini na madem mbaya lakini ukipata mtoi dem alafu usikie msee anakatia mtoi wako
hautaki hiyo story
that's a problem bana you are going to have a problem so human beings are hypocrites by nature so the same way Kenyans watacheza righteousness in most cases but kama hauna awareness ya how resources work kama hauna ubinadamu wewe mwenye una criticize ukipata nafasi ya kukaa kwa hiyo kiti you will be 10 times or 100 times worse than huyo mtu
alafu unajua history yako ya marriage imenikumbusha kitu moja like I always say that I'd never take advice from any older generation about sex. I always say like if I had that my grandfather had more sexual experience than me, I'd be like and now coming to think of it, I think Maasai girls can get advice from their Maasai grandmothers because those Maasai grandmothers had body count ya ajabu because all it took was this guy to just come and
put a spear
pale so we can imagine body count ya these grandmothers. It was crazy.
Hiyo ndio kitu nimekuwa nasema nashinda nikipostpone I need to find out from someone who knows the legitimacy of how that works.
That's very legitimate. We had there's an Iko Nini fan based in Minnesota sito anaitwa Eliakim Kosen told us that. Then we had nani pia anaitwa umse Leto said the same thing like it's a Maasai culture.
For real?
It's a Maasai cultural thing. Right now it's ending but it existed like their grandmothers just knew someone would show up put a spear so now you'd never know if you're infertile so every man was a man because mkikaa chini pamoja everyone has a kid so ikiwa dem hanini so now that time they'd know this woman can't give birth but now I think in such societies that woman was allowed to marry for you because now it was proven like amehandle all these men and she didn't get pregnant yes she can't give birth.
Mimi naye najua as much as we criticize government the greatest corruption exists in the institution of marriage.